There's this urban legend about Charles Lee Ray. He was a serial killer who died in the 80s. He terrorized Chicago for years. Prolific. Before he died, he transferred his soul into a good guy doll.
Hi, I'm Chucky.
Bjorgvin, Alyvia, Jeff in Las Vegas, good morning. Thank you for joining me this morning.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you for having me.
So I binged 3 or 4 episodes, and I'm Generation X. So when I was your age, I saw these movies first run in the theater, and it's so cool to have Chucky back. And not only that, a series where it can take its time, developing the characters and Chucky's, backstory and all that. So this is a thrilling series to have for Halloween. And Bjorgvin, the mystery podcast your character has, Hackensack is a true crime town, isn't it? But Devin's also a talented pianist, man. He's a complex character, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a little bit complex. The funny thing about the piano is that originally I was supposed to sing, I think, a Freddie Mercury song, but I can't sing to save my life. So me and Don were like talking about what I could do. It was playing guitar. I can't do that. And then it was piano. And I said, I guess I can play piano. And he was like, we're going to do that. And I was like, okay. And it was really fun working with Don to kind of come up with something that would make sense. And I think that does make sense with my character, because he's like kind of this like talented kid. So he can like play piano and do a podcast about crime. It's like he's kind of like all over the place. It's kind of cool.
Very cool. And Alyvia, Lexi, she's the rich girl, entitled, social media maven. She's the classic mean girl, isn't she?
Oh yeah, she is the classic mean girl with so many layers, and we get to see her develop over the whole series. Start as this just really horrible person, and maybe even become, see what she's done wrong, and maybe almost become a little bit more helpful to the people around her, and help save them and help save the town of Hackensack. And maybe we get to see that she actually does have a very small heart of gold in there somewhere.
That the object is to find it, right?
Oh yeah, you gotta find it.
And Bjorgvin, Chucky has a soul of serial killer Charles Lee Ray. He's perfect content for Devin's podcast, isn't he?
It is. And I think, yeah, it is. And I think like when I kind of start, talking to Jake, and I'm kind of curious about what his problem is, I'm trying to help him, but also get stuff for my podcast. And then, when it starts getting a little bit too intense, I'm like, okay, but I'm also even more intrigued because I want to know why people are dying now. And, it's all connected with Jake. So I'm trying to figure out and get to the bottom of this.
And Alyvia, the Chucky series takes place during Halloween. I mean, come on, that's the best setting ever, isn't it?
Oh yeah, my favorite holiday is Halloween. I love Halloween so much. My whole family loves Halloween. And also just watching the series, it's so pretty, just with like the October, like the leaves and the whole setting of the whole show feels so Halloweeny. And it just feels like warm. Just feels nice and cozy and warm. It's kind of like a comfort blanket when you're watching this doll kill a bunch of people.
Yeah. And Bjorgvin, Jake has a mad crush on Devin. Does Devin even notice?
I was always contemplating that when I was doing it. I was like, I don't know, do I notice or do I not? But this is hard. It's a hard one. But I think like when it starts off, I might have like maybe suspicions that he might have a crush on me, but maybe I'm like, no, that's crazy. That'd be so weird. But maybe, as the story furthers, maybe I start realizing, and maybe I'm start like, okay, maybe, I don't know.
I think deep down, Devin hopes he has a crush on him.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think that's something, yeah.
And Alyvia, this is Chucky's the 30-year history and legacy. Did you watch the original films? Did you do your research, or did you?
Oh yeah. I had seen all the Chucky films before joining the project. And then of course when I got it, I rewatched them, did a whole binge in the 2-week Canada quarantine that we had to do. And they were so good, just as good as the first time. And yeah, they're the perfect mix of every single genre possible. It's funny and scary and heartfelt. It's just everything you could ever think of the Chucky movies have.
And Bjorgvin, tell me when the first moment you saw the Chucky doll on set. Describe that moment for me. And Alyvia, you're next.
I think that was the talent show scene, because I was sitting in the crowd the whole time, and I was kind of like, okay, I was like, all right, because at first I was like, okay, the doll is gonna be there, and then like I didn't know that they made the doll turn its head and say words. I thought they needed people to be there, so when it did that, I was like, whoa, okay. I was like, oh, that's cool. And I think it was kind of like, and afterwards that I got to see the puppeteers and more in there, kind of seeing him move around, move his arms, move his eyes, and and it was kind of like, it was, I don't know, it was like, it was kind of cool. And like, I think it was, I can't find the right word for this, but I think it was, huh?
Incredible.
It was incredible. It was mesmerizing. And I think it kind of like I got to see this thing on the screen and in the other movies, but not seeing it in person. It's kind of like I get to know more about it, and then when I'm watching it, I'm like, oh yeah, I know what they did this, I was there. And it was kind of like, yeah, cool.
Yeah, because Alyvia, you had one-on-one with Chucky. I mean, in the costume. I mean, how creepy was that?
Yeah, we had a few one-on-one scenes. He is so creepy and so cool. And I remember the first time I saw him on set, I did not know that he was that, like, he functions on his own. Like, he's not just like a little green figure that you're just staring at and having to pretend like he's moving. He really is. We were doing a scene in the hallway. It was my first scene, my first take in the show. And I walk up to Chucky and I'm just like talking, and all of a sudden he turns his head and looks at me, and I like jump back a little bit because I'm actually like genuinely scared about this doll coming to life. So yeah, I think that if I had a confrontation with Chucky, it would not go well in real life.
It's funny because years ago, I used to have a full-size Chucky doll, and eventually somebody stole it from my house, but it was always the center of attention when somebody would come in, because they released the doll 4 or 5 years ago. I'm sure you can find one even on eBay, like in the show. But it's one of the most iconic, scary things if you walk into someone's house and there's Chucky. It's a great conversation piece, but you both are awesome. Thank you so much for talking to me today about the new Chucky series. It's on SYFY and the USA Network. Perfect for Halloween. Thank you so much. And let's talk again for season 2. Crossing your fingers here.
Thank you so much.
So much.
Take care.